suspect that this is going to be like the most boring speech because this is the third time I'm speaking during a Tumuh retreat. I think there's an interesting, actually, thing happened to me the last time I was a speaker at Tumuh, talking about ecosystems versus ecosystems, where ecosystem people actually work together to achieve milestones versus ego system where actually they don't collaborate to achieve building a real ecosystem. So I'm going to share with you the journey of the last 4 years since I was part of this exercise, the Government Fund of Funds program, which is Saudi Venture Capital. Why are we doing this? How? And the impact, SVC impact, and the ecosystem impact. And the we here, it's not only SVC, it's the whole players in the ecosystem. I'm going to share with you some of these players in the ecosystem and hidden gems who really participated in this evolvement of venture investment in Saudi Arabia and across the MENA region, of course. So why? Why startups and SMEs are really crucial to the contribution of the GDP, and that was actually an integral part of the Vision 2030 in Saudi Arabia. So this is not something, not luxury to have, it's core of transforming the economy and the social growth happening in Saudi Arabia. So we came out of this exercise by letting go the ego that we want to create something from scratch. Rather than doing this, we worked with all government similar programs globally to learn from these lessons, working models, and design, adapt, change, listen to entrepreneurs, listen to core players in the ecosystems, investors, government, local authorities, and all players in the ecosystem. And then we become a gap filler in that exercise by not overcrowding the current players, but also complementing whatever has been working in the ecosystem. Key lessons is to be laser focused on being a gap filler, rather actually overcrowding players in the ecosystem. And this is actually, it's a mindset of the ecosystem building, rather the ecosystem, where I want to come and do everything and create this ecosystem and stimulate this ecosystem. And these are some of the sectors actually we managed with our partners actually to stimulate together. So how? Is by enabling the players in the ecosystem, by empowering whoever is actually playing in this ecosystem to do more and more and more. And we did this through these different programs. One of the core program is the Fund of Funds program. So any investor in this asset class in Saudi Arabia, across the MENA region, or globally, that they want to add value to the startup ecosystem in Saudi, we chase them and back them to do more and more. Either to structure a fund, our startup studio, or an accelerator fund, whatever types of funds that are crucial to fill a gap in the ecosystem. Lately, we discovered like a venture debt gap, so we backed venture debt backers in the ecosystem. And by that, by backing the backers, the exponential impact will always grow as we evolve in this ecosystem. Definitely, we don't just do this like in a haphazard way. We're doing it in a more disciplined way. So we back and enable robust, we have a robust evaluation process and methodology, how to pick and choose the backers in the ecosystem and how to back them. And also, we have a couple of governance, definitely, framework in terms of portfolio strategy and also how we evaluate these fund managers pre-investment, post-investment, until actually the exits and then refunding. Actually, 4 of the funds we backed now, they're raising their successor funds in 3 years. So I think this cycle of investing, reinvesting in the ecosystem to stimulate the whole ecosystem. In short, I'm gonna tap into SVC's impact and the whole ecosystem impact happened in Saudi Arabia the last 3 years. So this is our impact so far. The capital committed is around 1.3 Saudi riyal, $370 million, I would say. The capital deployed to these different startups in the ecosystem, 650 million riyal. We have also invested and backed 25 funds, private equity, venture capital, and also venture debt funds, and startup studio funds, accelerator funds, all the different kind of funds and different players in the ecosystem. By backing these backers, the impact of deployment and the number of startups actually invested in. We also back angel groups. There used to be only one angel group, which is Athaal Angels. Now we have 5 active angel groups in the ecosystem. More professional angel investors are evolving, more VCs are evolving, and more to come. We're still scratching the surface, but I'm sure that more will be happening, despite the bumpy ride with the public market, private market valuation, especially on later stage. But I think that's the nature of these cycles happens in the economy. 617 deals completed through the funds and the co-investment direct program that we have. We have 357. Now this is actually exceeded now 400 companies, MENA, and around 100 plus Saudi-based startups actually being backed by the funds we back. So in short, by backing the backers, the multiplier actually always grows. And these are the number of jobs created, indirectly and direct jobs also. This is our army here. Huh? All the funds we backed, the 25 funds, focusing on different stages, different sectors, different gaps in the ecosystem to finance these startups from idea to exit, pre-seed to IPO. And actually, what this collective actually efforts of all these fund managers and players in the ecosystem, they are not only the local VCs or local fund managers, but also regional, international. We're attracting more. We have a very healthy pipeline now. We're overcrowded with many applications now. We received around 100 applications. We approved and committed to 25 so far, but we will do more. But we need to be careful actually to balance also the deal flow creation versus the availability of investable deals and the availability of risk capital in the ecosystem. This is actually just a snapshot on some of the companies that raised during the last 3 years. 617 deals, indirectly and directly. We have now 25 funds that we backed, and also we mentioned about the co-investment activities to these. And in that sense, actually, we celebrate at SVC when we are kicked out of some of the direct investment rounds because it's covered by the private investors. So at the government program, we don't want to overcrowd private investors. We want to back them and help them actually to evolve and emerge. So our success actually in the ecosystem is not to exist in a few years. The last thing is actually the ecosystem impact, which is beyond SBC, because there are many players have been instrumental in this ecosystem. We managed to encourage the creation of a couple new angel groups. We managed actually to have local licensed funds to emerging fund managers, regional, international, to have an allocation to invest in Saudi Arabia, like MSA coming from China, Hamburg Perks from the UK. We have also managed to encourage also Endeavor Global Fund out of Silicon Valley to invest in Saudi-based companies, but also 500 Global now setting a local fund, a regional fund also that is focusing on the MENA region and Saudi Arabia. These are actually some of the impact happened in the ecosystem. We managed actually to participate on some of the later stage funds and also, deals, and also some of the funds that are actually addressing specific sectors or stages. This is actually the growth happened the last 3 years in terms of the total capital deployed, invested in startups in Saudi Arabia, and also the number of deals and the growth year over year. And the total actually CAGR is 106 on average across the 3 years. The last thing is actually, Saudi Arabia used to be number 4 3 years back. Now we're number 2. This year or next year, I promise we will be number 1 across the MENA region. So conclusion, it's all about, yes, we can, do it inside in the MENA region. But it's all about the ecosystem building, and to avoid doing the ecosystem. And this is actually among all the players in the ecosystem: government, universities, dress capital, corporates, and also the core would be these emerging entrepreneurs in Saudi and across the MENA region. Thanks to all ecosystem players who really helped achieving these milestones and numbers. But on top of this, actually, I want to thank my team, who has been instrumental in this. We are a small team, 18 individuals. What we believe, I'm blessed with an amazing team that helped the participation with all other players in the ecosystem to achieve the targets we just showed today. Thank you all. I hope that was interesting.